Hi, my name is Phil Anderson, and I'm running for United States Senate to represent Wisconsin. Well, I got the final word today, or at least the final word, seemingly, about the debates. As you probably know, you might know, the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association hosts a debate for Senate candidates every October before the election. And I inquired to their executive director as to what the criteria were, and I received an official word that it was polling at above 10%, plus having at least raised $250,000 so far for the campaign. Now, I appealed that decision, or those criteria, to the chairman of the board of the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association, and he confirmed today via email that those indeed are, in fact, the criteria, and that despite the fact that I might present a request to change them or to get rid of the ridiculously high financial requirement to be in the debates, regardless of polling, that he said that they're not going to do that. And they don't meet again until January. They're not going to consider it, and they would not consider it during an election year anyway. It sort of begs the question, candidates usually discover what the criteria are for debates during an election year, so I guess you have to plan ahead in order to try and tear down what is obviously a corrupt, rigged system. And that's what I'm calling it. Part of the system that we're seeing unveiled in Philadelphia and that we saw unveiled in Cleveland is basically rigged for Republicans and Democrats to succeed, to have preferential treatment, even candidates among those parties, those parties' candidates, but even especially to third-party candidates where they don't want us involved, they don't want us debating, they don't want to hear our voice, they don't really want us in polls, although we've conquered that one for Wisconsin anyway, and they don't really want to give us a shot, so they set these requirements, and I would argue that there's a conflict of interest, because you see the reason that campaigns have to raise so much money is to spend money. And what's the most expensive thing? Not yard signs, not bumper stickers, not pins, not travel even, but paying for media advertising, as in television and radio broadcast and cable television. So, of course, what the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association wants is those candidates to be heard on stage at their debate who can pay them for TV and radio advertising, not the ones who aren't going to raise as much money and can't. Even though the reason we're not raising as much money is because we're not corrupt and we're not bowing to special interests and taking payoffs from campaign donors, etc. That doesn't really matter to them. What matters to them is that the candidates that are going to support them, that they support. So they put these candidates in the debate, have this ridiculously high threshold for raising money, and those candidates in turn use that money to pay the membership of Wisconsin Broadcasters Association for radio and television advertising. It's pretty obvious. It's pretty blatant. It's almost as blatant as the DNC chairperson resigning, then immediately getting a job with a campaign to which she was giving favors. Almost that blatantly, brazenly corrupt. Not quite, but still obviously a conflict of interest. So, as you've seen, there's a petition circulating on change.org. You'll see that through social media and via email. I encourage you to sign it. What we want to do is at least show that there's public support for libertarians and third-party candidates to be in debates sponsored by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association based on poll numbers, which is legitimate. And there should be, not everyone should be in the debate. You should have gone out and gotten some support, circulated ideas, to make it so that it's not just an absolute free-for-all, and those candidates can be heard that have built up their support, that are running legitimate campaigns. I have no problem with that. But the $250,000 threshold is obviously ridiculous, antiquated, and corrupt. So we're going to fight that. You and I, everyone who signs a petition, we're going to fight it. And if they still won't let us in, we're going to have an alternate event, possibly an Occupy the Debates event, possibly a Disrupt the Debates event, and I have just the guy who can plan such an event. I'm looking at you, campaign manager. Regardless, that's for all in the future. I thank you for listening, and please pay attention to the campaign. We're probably going to roll out some new imagery, possibly a new website soon. We're heading into the last 3+ months of the campaign. We've got a lot of events planned, already done a lot of media, got television commercials to roll out that we've scraped together a few $1,000s to pay for. It's all very exciting, and I hope that you'll follow along either on Facebook, Twitter, follow our webpage for Phil Anderson, the number 4, philanderson.org. If you want a yard sign, bumper sticker, button, let me know. Thanks. I'll talk to you tomorrow.